Hello Year 9s and welcome to another one of my tutorials. Today what I'm wanting to go through is where we left off. So last time we actually ironed on our crushed velvet onto our polar fleece. So we've been through the process of how to iron that on, and if you need a refresher or you're not up to it yet, go back to the tutorials and you'll see all the instructions on how to do that. Now, I did have a couple of students who didn't have an iron. So in that case, if you don't have an iron or you don't have an adult present who can help you iron the Volofix onto the back of the crushed velvet, you can actually just use a running stitch. And that was that first stitch that we did. The tutorials are also available on Compass and available on this site. And it's basically just that running stitch where you're going up and down, and we're sort of doing 2 rows, one to hold the center circle, as you can see there, and the other one to hold the outer edge. Now, I haven't gone really close to the edge because when you're doing your decorative stitch, like the blanket stitch that's showing on here, so you're actually going to be stitching really close to the edge of your crushed velvet. So that's why in this case I haven't done the stitching really close. It gives you the space to be able to do that, secure it into place, and then you can go and remove that row. Now, there's no need to do any decorative stitch on this middle hole because that will end up getting cut out and stitched in, as you can see, into the middle here with the hand stitching. So there's no need to do any decorative treatment on this center hole. Okay, so to get started, some of you may already have these in your embroidery hoops, but I'll just demonstrate it again. So remember, we've got the smaller hoop on the table and we're loosening the larger hoop because the polar fleece is quite thick. And then it's just a matter of pressing that into place with your icing somewhere in the middle-ish. Doesn't have to be really, you don't have to measure it and center it. And then we're just tightening this. Now, as I mentioned before, we just got to make sure there's no lumps and bumps around this edge, but don't pull it too tight because the polar fleece does stretch, and all that means is that you're going to stretch it out of place. So just as long as it's nice and firm and doesn't have any lumps and bumps around the edging here. All right, so we've got that ready. The next thing that we need to have ready is we need to have our needle threaded, and it's going to be a single layer of thread. And here we've got our shorter end, and we're ready to start whatever stitching you decide to do. So you have practiced many different things. We've done chain stitches, we've done blanket stitches, we've done the lazy daisy, we've done the French knots, and there's plenty of other tutorials available online as well. So feel free to do whatever it is that you like in terms of decorations. You don't have to do it really full. As you can see, there's only sort of a few bits of decoration on this, but you can go as full or as sparse as you like. It's your donut. This is now an opportunity for you to be creative and do what you like to the top of your donut. Okay, so I'll just start you off with a row of blanket stitch. around my edging. So just to show you how to start that off. So what I'm basically doing, I'm just trying to get the light right here for you. So I'm just bringing my needle up along the edge of that crushed velvet. And then we're starting our blanket. So we're bringing our, probably one of the most important things is to make sure that you keep everything even. So we've come up on the edge of our crushed velvet. So you can just see that sitting on the edge of the crushed velvet there. And then we are going sort of on a diagonal to where that has come up. And then bringing our needle. Now you can do this in 2 stitches, but I'm just doing it in 1. So bringing that up, and that holds the stitch from falling through. So same thing, hold the thread with my thumb on a diagonal from where that thread has come out, or even if you follow that across, we're going down and then straight up again just outside of the velvet. Now take your time. If your threads get a bit caught, just pull it back and realign it. So again, same distance as what we had here. So we've got a distance of about 5 millimeters there. I'm going 5 millimeters across and coming out just on the edge of the crushed velvet. And as I said, the trick is just to keep it even. And take your time. So that's the chain stitch there. Now what I'll do, I'm just going to take that through. Sorry, that's the blanket stitch. The pink's a bit hard to see against the green, but you can see that that's starting to fill in that spot. What I'll do is I'm just going to move around to a different section of my icing, and I'm just going to do a chain stitch here, just so that you can see how a chain stitch would look. So remember, we've got just on the edge of the velvet, we pop the needle back into the same hole, and this time we're following the edge of the velvet. So same hole, you could do a stem stitch, you could do the chain as I'm doing here, you could find something else that's on the internet. That's entirely up to you. Okay, so that's what that would look like. That one sort of sits more right on the edge of the crushed velvet, whereas the other one sits a little bit on and a little bit off. But this is your turn to have a go. Once you've done that, then you can use other colors to decorate however you like. But again, as I said before, you don't need to decorate this inside edge because that's just getting cut. All right, once you're done with that, please take a photo and send that through to me. I'd love to see what you're doing.